What's going on, guys? Shane here. Today we're talking about knee strikes. Now there's so many different variations of knee strikes, but we're going to look at 5 common mistakes that people make when throwing knee strikes in general. Let's take a look at the first one. Okay, so let's first look at the correct way of throwing a knee, a long knee. So a long knee is when I'm still in the fight, throwing punches, I'm throwing kicks, I'm not holding on to anything. I'm not grabbing the arms or grabbing the head and pulling them into the knee. I'm throwing it on its own. So I take a step and I come up to the ball of my foot on my support leg. I thrust my hips forward. I keep my hands up. And I penetrate through the target, all right? So I go straight through as if I'm aiming for their spine. So it looks like this, okay? That's a long knee. So one of the most common mistakes that people make when they first throw this knee is they knee straight up to the sky. So they'll come up to the bag and it looks something like this. It'd be good for a knee to the groin, right? It'd be good for a knee to the head too. If I have someone here, then yes, I'm gonna knee straight up. However, just think about placement, just think about angles. If this is someone's torso and I knee straight up, I'm not trying to skim the front of their body. I'm trying to shish kebab them. I'm trying to penetrate right through and hit their spine, like I said. So that's what you want to do. You want to see the trajectory of your knee coming up on a slight angle, but again, it's penetrating through. I'm trying to go right through. So really thrust your hips forward when you do this. So that's the first mistake, is kneeing straight up and not through the target, okay? Second mistake is when people drop their hands. All right, so there's, like I said, there's a bunch of different variations to do it. When I was first taught, I was told bring the elbow across the opposite side. So if I'm kneeing with the right, then my left elbow comes across, and then keep this hand high so that I can easily come back with a Superman punch or a right hand or something like that. So that's not incorrect. You still can do that because you're protecting your jaw. You're still getting your hips forward and your hands stay up. This is all open here though, however. What I've noticed and what I prefer now is making yourself really tall. So I get really tall and I bring my guard high. So yes, this does expose the body, but I mean, even if I throw a jab, my body's exposed, right? So there's a give and take. There's always a risk when you attack in fighting, right? There's a risk even if you stay still and defend the whole time. So I like bringing my guard high and bringing my elbows up to about forehead or eye level, and then I crunch. The same way if I were to lay down on my back and do crunches, it's that same motion. So I still get my hips into it, but I crunch the upper body as I throw the knee. So it's like this. Okay? Hands are staying blocking my face the whole time. I bring them up here, but I'm still protecting my chin, still protecting my face, my head, and then I crunch into it as I thrust my hips forward into the bag. So instead of dropping my hands like this or dropping one hand, keep both of them up the whole time. Boom, you're still in the fight. Okay? The third mistake now is not fully bending your knee. And this is very common in beginners, and this is how people often injure themselves when throwing knees on the back. They're like, Shane, it hurts, it hurts. It shouldn't hurt. I mean, superficially maybe, but if you're locking your knee in place, it should be doing more damage to your opponent and not yourself, right? And the main reason for that is, like I said, not bending the knee. If you straighten your leg out, I can move my kneecap around. I don't want there to be any movement, right? I want to solidify that. When I bring my heel to my butt, it solidifies my kneecap into one solid piece. So make sure you're bringing your heel all the way to your butt when you make contact with your target, okay? Boom. Now you may say, Shane, I've seen high-level Muay Thai guys throw a knee and hit with a complete bent leg, 90-degree bend in the knee. Is it just because they're more conditioned? Yes, pro fighters, Thais that have been training since they're 7 years old are going to be more conditioned, but it's not only that. When they throw this knee, and I say it with quotations, it's because they're not entirely hitting with the kneecap like we had talked about. They're hitting with the top of the shin bone, the top of the tibia. Now the tibia expands when it gets to the top, so it's thicker, it's denser. This area right here is called the tibial tuberosity. That's a word that you can bust out to your friends and impress them. So they're hitting with that part of the shin, so you're thrusting in that knee motion, but when you hit the bag, boom, you're hitting with the top of your shin. And yeah, it's going to make contact with the knee too, but you're not putting all of that pressure on the kneecap. Well, there are times where you don't have to really bring your heel all the way to your butt, but still, the more bent it is, the more solidified your kneecap will be, and the safer your leg will be, okay? Number 4 mistake is throwing it from too far away. Like I said, this can be a long strike. This can beat a jab, right? If I throw a jab here and I can hit the bag, then I should be able to knee even further than that. But what I've found is this kind of gets into people's heads and they try to throw from way too far away. And they go like this, and then they fall in and they get countered with something, okay? So still set your strikes up. Still set these knees up. Or wait for them to come towards you. If they're stepping in, you stand your ground, or maybe you take a step back and then you throw it. That works. Or you can still go left hook, knee, or cross step, knee. Set it up, make sure you're close enough before you throw that knee strike. And mistake number 5 is hitting with the wrong part of the knee or with the leg. When we train with partners, especially with the clinch, we tell students to hit with the inside of the thigh so that we don't hurt our training partner. We're not trying to kill each other, right? So we just show that the knee would be there. What I've noticed is that people do this so often that they don't turn the leg over when they actually fight, and they still hit or slap with the knee. And you see a lot of this in amateur Muay Thai, right? They're clinched up and they're doing this. It's coming straight up. They're just trying to get points, but there's no power behind that, and it doesn't give your opponent a reason to even defend against them. Pretty much just gives them a time to sweep you, okay? So instead, you want to turn that knee over right before contact so that you're hitting with the hard part of your knee, with the cap, right? So I swing it out first, and of course I'm going to minimize the movement once I actually get into the ring, but to exaggerate it, I come out, I let go and toes up, and then as I come in, boom, I hit with the hard part, the side of the knee here, really dig that into the body, into the ribs. That's what's going to do damage. Hard bone on hard bone, right? Not soft muscle on hard bone. So make sure that if you are doing side knees from the clinch, you're turning it over. And even if it's just from right here, you're just lifting it up, still turn that over. Your toes should be out and pointing down by the time you make contact, okay? All right, guys, thanks for watching. So remember, practice doesn't make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect. So make sure you're doing it correctly and record yourself. It's one of the best ways to see if you're doing things right or wrong. Until next time, be sure to subscribe to get the fight tips before your opponent does. I'm Shane with Fight Tips for the underdogs.